Alright, so here we go. Is motovlogging dead? That's a question that's been asked the past couple of weeks. A few motovloggers have even done videos on them. Check out MotoKari's video on it. It's very well done. I like a lot of her stuff, so don't just watch that video. Go over there and check her out and subscribe if you like her stuff. Wasn't sure where I was going with that, but you get the idea. Anyways, so is motovlogging dead? And I think there are a couple of different ways you can approach this question and kind of look at it. It could also be a matter of opinion or from a certain point of view. I want to make sure this Jeep doesn't kill me. No one stops at this intersection, so you just gotta always look no matter what. I personally don't think it's dead. I think the viewership on it is down and pointing in the wrong directions. And what do I mean by that? Let's look at some of the bigger motovloggers that aren't actually motovloggers anymore. So people look at them and they're like, oh, well, they're not motovlogging anymore, so motovlogging must be dead. Bumpies. And so if you look at it from that point of view, then yeah, it kind of makes sense as to why people are saying that. So look at a lot of the big motovloggers out there. They got like 1 million plus subscribers. Their core videos aren't motovlogs. And that's what I think makes a motovlogger. Because you got to set that criteria. Like, what is a motovlogger exactly? It's someone who does what I'm doing. You're riding, whatever it is that you ride, and talking to a camera, talking to you guys. So, some of those guys, I don't want to name them because that's just not appropriate. They're doing builds, but they're not doing bike builds. They're doing car builds, diesel truck builds, all this other weird shit that has nothing to do with motovlogging or bikes or like biking. But that's not how they started. So the channel kind of evolved to do something completely different. So you ask yourself, like, why? Like, what happened? And that's not the only one. Other people are doing supercars. They're just doing other stuff that really has nothing to do with what they originally started their channel on. And it's something that I've noticed over the past year or so, and a little bit more than that, and especially recently. The more I dug into it, the more I realized what's going on. And you guys can comment below and just let me know if you agree with me or not. It's all money. It's all for the money. And what do I mean by that? I mean, these guys, we all start off doing this because we loved it. We love it. We wanted to do it. It's fun for us. And then eventually, once you start getting bigger, you can start making money off of YouTube and stuff. And amongst other things, you could potentially get sponsored. You could get all these other cool perks of being a big motovlogger. So I think what happens is some of these guys started up and they're like, oh, this is fun. And then they got a little taste of the money and the fame. And they're like, well, now I want to go full time. And that's... sorry, there was no hot chick. There's no explanation for that. That's where I think it goes wrong. It's when some of these guys or girls get so big and they start making money from it and they just want more. So they go full time into YouTube, quit their 9 to 5, and they're like, all right, now my job is YouTube. Okay, great, that's awesome. That's obviously, maybe it's some people's dreams, maybe that's like the goal or whatever, but it opens up a whole nother set of problems when you do that. Because now guess what? YouTube is not a steady stream of income. You don't get a weekly check from YouTube because you punched a clock from 9 to 5. You got to put out content, and you better damn hope that people watch it. That's exactly what YouTube is. If you're banking on YouTube to make money, the only stat you care about is views. Really, subs to a point, but views and the length of time people are engaged on your channel. That's it. So that being said, why do people think motovlogging is dead? It's dead because at a certain point, maybe like a couple years ago, maybe even a little bit more, there was a shift in the viewership of motovlogging videos. That these guys went full time and they realized they weren't making as much money as they could have or would have just working a regular 40-hour-a-week job. So they had to do something else. They had to up the ante, as you say. You know, just like, all right, so how are we going to get more views? Okay, well, let's do build views. Let's do this. Let's do reviews, which is fine. But then it gets to like the extreme case I said before. Well, let's build a diesel truck. Really? You're going to build an off-frame diesel truck on a motovlogging channel just to get views? That's weird to me, and that's a huge paradigm shift in like the motovlogging community, I guess. Because then one person does it, gets a bunch of views and more subs, then everyone else is like, oh well, hey, this guy's making more money than me. Let me do that. So I think that's kind of what happened, and a bunch of them did it all in a row. If you look at that core group of motovloggers that kind of all came up at the same time, and now they're all the top guys. If you look at the history, it's exactly what happened. So I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. You can comment below. It's all a money thing. It's all a cash grab at the views, at the sponsorships, at the ad revenue, all of that. It's all it is. It's not. Sometimes doing what you like and like having a hobby and fun doesn't always bring in the money that you can live on. And me personally, I already know that. I'm going into this knowing that. That's not a problem for me. The other thing is, there is no way YouTube is ever right now give me as much money as I'm making now. It's never going to replace my 40-hour-a-week job. I work in IT, I'm very high up, and there's just no possible way. The only way that would ever happen is if some company or whatever sponsored me and gave me a contract for a certain amount of money for a certain amount of years. That's it. And I'm just throwing that out there so you guys know that I'm not in this for a full-time job, because it's just not financially possible with YouTube. But you know what? That's my situation. That's not everybody. You know, look at some of these guys who have gone full-time. Obviously, maybe they weren't making that much in their regular 9-to-5 full-time job, and YouTube offered them more money. You know, once they got rolling, YouTube was able to give them more money than they were making before, which made it viable to be like, okay, well, I'm going to quit my 9-to-5. So with that, that's fine. Like I said, everyone's situation is different. So if you can go full-time and make a living out of it, great. You have to be aware that it is a double-edged sword. Okay, it's cool. We're doing cool stuff on YouTube. You know, it's what we love to do. Well, guess what? Like I said at the very beginning, you gotta get the views. What happens when you're doing the same thing and your viewership is going down? You gotta try something different. So I think that's why some people think motovlogging is dead. So again, let me know what you guys think. That's really, I think it's as simple as that. I don't think there's any other really overly complicated explanation for why people think motovlogging is dead. It's just that the bigger channels are full-time, they need the money, they need the views, so they're just doing different stuff. What would be great is trying to get some eyes on smaller channels who are still doing the legit motovlogging. And what I mean by that, like, we all do kind of different things. We do mail calls, we do that. Not 100% of our videos are just us on a bike, you know, with a helmet camera, just talking. Your core videos, over like 50%, should be this. And then you're like a motovlogger. Other than that, then maybe you're just a reviewer. Maybe you're just a test rider. You know, something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that's why there's that consensus out there that motovlogging is dead. Well, I reassure you, I don't think motovlogging is dead. I just think it's missing, in a sense of the word, and it needs to be found by you, the YouTube viewers, again. Well, thank you guys for listening to my little rant about motovlogging. I hope it made some sort of sense to somebody who watches this. But again, just leave me the comment, and if you like my stuff, you can always subscribe to me, get my numbers back up there to where they used to be, and I'll just keep pumping out more content for you guys. Sorry, I'm concentrating on not dying because this is not fun here. Anyways, I'll check you guys later.